Right, from the city, Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Maya Wynn accepted the invitation that we shared. Maya, welcome to my humble podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I don't know. Let's go back to the beginning of your life. How did you start in music? Were you born like in a musical family? How old were you when you perhaps began taking, I don't know, guitar lesson, piano lesson, that sort of things?
Yeah, I started at 3 years old. I was playing piano and taking lessons. My dad played piano growing up, and just hearing him play was a really big influence on me. And I loved playing the piano. I started teaching myself other instruments around the age of 12, 13, drums, guitar. And then I kind of became obsessed with it, and just this idea of learning a new instrument became so exciting. And my grandpa is a bluegrass musician. He would play banjo and mandolin growing up, and so that also was a big influence on me. I started to teach myself mandolin and banjo around that age as well. And then it kind of blossomed into more and more instruments, ukuleles and dulcimers and harp guitars and bouzouki and saz. And I still have, I don't know, over 80 instruments in my studio, and I still love getting new ones. It's just very exciting for me. And I feel just an almost childlike excitement every time I think about learning something new in music and learning a new instrument. Just opens a new door, and I it fills me with a sense of wonder that little else in this world does.
Gotcha, gotcha. Were you in any bands in high school at
I
all?
did choir classes.
Yeah,
I created some imaginary bands with my friends as a kid, but
yeah.
nothing real or tangible. I started playing in coffee shops when I was 16. Very much a singer-songwriter, and I started writing songs around 13. Um, but I really started pursuing music as a performer when I was 16, and I would play in coffee shops and bars in Montana. And um, I just really invested myself into performing from that point forward.
Did you knew back then when you finished high school that that's would be the path in your life? That's exactly what you want to do instead of going to college and doing other stuff and nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it became very much my focus. I was going through some pretty difficult things at the time, and music, in a lot of ways, I think was my light at the end of the tunnel. It was something that I could focus on, this dream and this hope and this career.
Mm.
Um, and so I really threw myself into it. I think in a way it was a distraction from everything else, um, but also was very exciting. And so it was easy for me to get lost in this idea and really put everything I had into it. Um, and I did that for a very long time.
I'm happy you did, you know. And of course, you are the lead singer of Envy of None, a project including Rush guitarist Alex Lifelong son. I think I read somewhere that I think you wrote your first song when at the age of 7. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's not very good, but I did write a
That's
song.
all right. Well, you have like a notebook, of course, and
I was writing sheet music
pencil.
because it was just an
Ah,
instrumental thing on the piano.
okay. You still have the stuff?
I still
You,
remember it.
you
Um,
sing? Okay.
I I don't think I have the sheet music anymore.
Yeah.
Um, the first song that I wrote with lyrics, I think I was around 12. And I had a guitar that I was starting to learn how to play. I
Yeah.
do have a recording of that somewhere.
Got you. Good for you, man. Good for you. You have saved the stuff. And of course, after that, you began some way to cope, winning, entering some competition, winning some of them, and you earned a slot at the Upstream Music Festival. Feel free to elaborate on what memory do you have from that?
Yeah, that was one of the first festivals that I played. I got to play at that festival after placing second in a battle of the bands in Seattle called Sound Off. And that was a really amazing opportunity. I did a lot of contests early on to try to get my name out there, to try to get any sort of like connection in the music industry because I didn't really have a lot of connections in the music industry at the time. And the contest actually really helped a lot. And it's actually how I got connected with Andy, which eventually turned into Envy of None.
Yeah, well, good for you. Your life story is like a miracle in many ways. But I'm glad you are very resilient. If that's the correct word. You are persistent,
Thank you.
consistent, and I'm glad you. Anyway, would have been very easy for you to give up on your dreams, but you didn't. And you're a strong will.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. You will do very well in life, man.
Thank you.
Of course, in 2017, you wrote and performed the ballad of Lefty Brown that eventually ended up as the end credit of the movie. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually worked on that film. They filmed it in Montana, which is where I was living at the time, and I worked as essentially an intern in the sound department. And those were really grueling days. I think the last day on set was a 24-hour day that we worked. It was brutal, but it was fun to work on that film set, and I got to meet a lot of the people working on it and really good people. And I ended up writing this song on set, inspired by the story, and I showed it to the producers, and they asked if I could add it to the film as the end credits song, and which was very, very exciting for me. And I still get a lot of messages about that song today. I think people watch it all around the world. I think they did a distribution just like on DVD in different countries, and I'll still get messages from people that found me through that movie, which is really cool.
I hope you're getting royalties as well.
I
Royal.
am, yeah, which is really exciting.
Oh, you need to make a little bit of money and be happy with the stuff you do, right? And of
Yeah.
course, in 2019, you won the International Music from the Moon Songwriting Contest that was sponsored at the time by Geospace Rocking Center for the 50th anniversary for the Apollo 11. Man,
Yeah.
that's a big deal, man. How you got that?
Yeah. That's very exciting. Again, it was just researching music contests, and I came across one that was for the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. They wanted people to write songs about space exploration, and the prizes were incredible. It was the top prize was $10,000 and a trip to perform at the Space and Rocket Center at the anniversary gala. There's all of these exciting and recording the song at Fame Studios, which is a really incredible studio. That's where Aretha Franklin recorded, Etta James. Like it's an amazing studio. I think even the Beatles recorded there once. And so I was very, very excited to have won that contest. I wrote a song about space exploration, and it's a very exciting thing. I being at the Space and Rocket Center was such an amazing experience. Seeing they have the rockets there and seeing how huge they are, and being in performing to a room full of NASA scientists and astronauts and like the smartest people I've ever met in one room. It was really cool.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm not that smart, but I like science as well. So,
Yeah.
uh, of course, in 2019, you end up being featured at the Tiny Desk contest, right? That's kind of show that it's like a little room really here in Washington D.C., right? As some of this show have been seen by millions and millions of people. So I'm happy you were there, right? So how you
Yeah.
what memory do you have for that?
So that I haven't done a concert at the Tiny Desk, but they have this contest every year.
Yeah,
And one of the years I was featured on they sort of feature some of the entries each year, and they featured
yeah,
me one year, which was really exciting.
yeah.
But I think they get over 7,000 entries every year. So even just being like featured is like you kind of feel like you won something.
Of course.
And getting that write up in NPR, which is an amazing publication. And so I hope someday it's definitely a dream, bucket list dream to do an actual Tiny Desk concert someday. So fingers crossed.
I think you're getting there. You're getting
Yeah, I
there.
hope so.
And of course, when I mentioned your album Out of the Dark, which is it's a record that tells the story over the last 10 years. I think you end up mentioning on the website that you left home at 16, some difficult
Yeah.
issues, and that I don't want to go into his personal life. And your song are in many way reflect your in many ways you find a voice to and the strength to tell the story song by song. And um, in psychological terms, it's very difficult to open up and tell the story with people. For me, would have been very difficult to do it, but you did. So why opening up, and why, if you listen to the lyrics, you tell the story very clearly about things that happen. And we were born in certain families of this and that, and things happen. But you open up and you decided, well, I want to make the best of and write songs about my life story, right? So how difficult was for you to put that album together and then write the song and open it up and so on and so forth?
I think it was actually very cathartic. It helped me a lot to kind of put words to what I had experienced and try to share it in this very specific kind of way. I find it very cathartic, and I always have used music as a way to process things and also to speak truth to different things that I've experienced. I think things tend to fester if you don't shine a light on them, and I think telling your experiences, sharing your stories and your perspectives through music, through art is a way of shining a light on those things and helping them heal. And that's very much what it was like for me. It's like I'm healing from this and I'm not gonna suffer from it anymore. I'm just gonna express what's happened and how I feel and shine a light on this. And hopefully other people who maybe have experienced similar things will connect with that and maybe it'll help them shine a light on their own pain and a little bit of, I don't know, a hope in there. And I just I think music can be such a powerful tool for healing, and it has been for me. And so I hope that some of those songs are able to connect with other people and help them on their journeys too. That's the dream. Um, but yeah, I think the hard part is going through it, but the musical side of it for me is a release, and it feels really great.
It's good for you that you're able to cope with that kind of
Yeah.
issues that you went through. And then at the end, you how you find a record label that will able to be for that for that song, that track to be released, because that's another problem, right? So hey, I
Yeah.
write my song, it's very personal stuff. You had like an engineer, a mixer that could help you put the tracks together, and then trying to find a record label that.
I actually released it independently, and I produced the my solo album on my own. I
Okay.
did go into some studios for certain things, for tracking drums. I hired musicians, string players to add strings to things, and then I met a really amazing uh, mix engineer, and I connected with him, and I said, I've produced this album. I've gotten it as far as I can get it with my own skills at the moment. And he kind of helped fill in those gaps and take it across the finish line. And then I paid somebody to do the mastering for the record. But there are a lot of steps to making an album, and I had a lot of help from some talented people along the way. But I also spent hundreds of hours of on my own just in the studio recording and editing and tracking and getting them to sound as close as I could to what I was imagining in my head. And it's a lot of work, and I think that was part of the catharsis of it was I built a sense of independence working on that album and proving to myself that I can do this and I can do this. And it's not that I did it all on my own, but I was like spearheading that project and I made these decisions and I did a lot of it on my own. And then I found some really amazing people who helped me kind of carry it across the finish line. And it helped me feel so capable at the end of the day, and I do feel proud of myself for doing that. It was a lot of work, and it was very vulnerable, and it's not one that I think very many record labels would be very excited to take on, because it's a very
Sure.
vulnerable personal thing, and so it felt right to release it independently.
Yeah, it's a very, very good record. And
Thank you.
do you work full time or part time at the moment as well, or your music
Um,
your main thing?
yeah, I do work full. Well, music is my full-time job.
Yeah,
I did recently take on another part-time job, teaching music. So I've been doing music lessons, teaching ukulele and singing to kids, and that's been kind of a fun development in my life too. I think I'm learning a lot from the process of working with kids, and I see almost everything as a chance to kind of grow as a person. Um, so I think even if it's not like a long-term job for me, I think there's a lot that I can learn from the experience. And I do enjoy doing workshops and classes, and I think that that's a really fulfilling thing.
okay. And you are, of course, you're self-taught, right? You learn how to play the piano,
Yeah.
guitar, drum, ukulele, and everything. Wow, amazing. I don't have any talent like that, man. I just listen to music and appreciate music, but I don't play. So I'm glad you mix everything and you did everything together. And of course, I read somewhere that you also, write, perform, record, produce music, have edited and directed videos, film, graphic
Yeah.
design, and everything. My God, how you manage, man? You're a very smart cookie.
Yeah. Well, I don't, well, first of all, you do have talent, because I do feel like interviewing people and kind of creating something that people want to listen to. That's talent. So don't sell yourself short. But I think I have the one trait that I really am grateful that I have is the belief that I can do something if I try hard enough, and not being afraid to fail.
That's right.
Um, so I've been teaching myself a lot of skills, and the first few times it's not perfect, and being okay with it being imperfect is a really important part of growing and being able to learn new skills. And I feel so grateful that I've gotten to the point where I'm able to do that. So now it's like I'm teaching myself how to be a cinematographer, how to edit videos, color correct, using these fancy cameras, setting up audio recordings, doing all of the different sides of it. And I don't feel intimidated by that. I feel excited by it and ready to make mistakes.
Well, I think I'm going to have some project for you, so I will send you an email because I'm trying to do some stuff and I don't have the time because I work full time, like I told you, I'm a computer scientist and I teach as well, so I don't have the time, but I will send you an email. In answer to your question,
Absolutely.
so um, for me, you asked me a very good question. Is Okay, so let's go back a bit. When I started the channel, I knew that I wanted to do interviews that are differently. For me, it's very important to learn the person, right? So uh, know the fame, for example, right? So I'm going to be in coming months. I'm going to be interviewing Peter Gabriel because I go to his
Mm.
studio often, and I'm going to interview Eric Clapton, Brian May from Queen, and I'm not going to be talking about the hits. The hits, everybody knows the hits, right? I mean that record, why you end up leaving Genesis and that. No, I want to get to know the human being. That's so my questions are different. I want to get to know the person. So without without being very intrusive, right? I want the person to open up, right? As I told
Yeah.
you before, I'm here to listen. I don't have more a judgment one from another, right? So well, you're one of the first person who got made the comment, right? So that's what my interview is about. I want, through my question, through my accent, people to get to know you, right? And so that's what I ask question in such a way to make the person feel comfortable with stuff, right? I'm not criticized in any way. We were born in certain houses or parents, and we try to cope in life like I did, like you did, and everybody else. So that's what in a nutshell, my question are more personal, if you will, because I want to get to know the person. But you have done, very well in your life. And of course, in 2020, you gain an online following for recording song written by Lucy Gray in the Hunter Gaines book. That's a big deal, man. Feel free to talk about that.
Yeah. You're really good at redirecting away from yourself, but I think that's really beautiful what you do.
You learn like it's like anything in life, yeah. I know what. Okay, so I'm very good at reading people. Okay, very good at reading people. I could have been a psychiatrist, but I'm an engineer. I know when somebody feels comfortable, when I can push the envelope, so to speak, here in the United States, they call it, but when not. And I try to ask questions to make the people comfortable and more vulnerable, so they will open up, right? So then I can,
Yeah.
so to speak, attack them with questions. That's what I do. I do what I do. It's just I don't. That's my style. And believe me, I research your life, obviously, but um, I go by the flow. I have like 6 questions that I knew I want to ask you, but in general, I don't follow. I follow the conversation with someone, right? I don't
Yeah,
follow my list, right?
that's
Um,
really great though. I think that it takes so much emotional intelligence to do that. And that
yeah.
is, that you're self-deprecating, but it takes a lot of intelligence to key in on people and kind of be able to go with the flow in a conversation like that and bring out the best in people. So you're doing great.
Yeah. Everybody's good, I think. Everybody's
Yeah.
good. It just the other thing you mentioned before, which is very, very important, and I see it in my life as well. So a lot of people in the world have a lot of ideas, right?
Yeah.
To do X, Y, Z, to go to school, get married, get a job, whatever. But fewer and fewer people are willing to do the work.
Yeah.
But you did, right? You told yourself the introvert, you left home when you were 16, man, how would I make it? I don't have any
Yeah.
money, this and
I
that.
always tell people if you can
Look at
get
you,
past
man.
day three, there's
Yeah, of
there's
course, yeah.
a hump. Like you're excited
Yeah,
about something, and
yeah.
for the first 3 days, that excitement is still there. And
Mm.
then once the excitement wears off, it's just
So,
hard for like a certain amount of time. It's just hard.
yeah.
And the
Yeah.
excitement becomes less and less. And if you can get through that part, then it gets less hard. And then the excitement comes back again. And then it makes it worth it. But you have
Mm.
to get through that middle part. And the middle part is
Yeah.
it can be really
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah. I think God exists. I grew up in a Catholic family, right? So, but I think the world will be a very unfair place if not everybody were to have the same opportunity, right? So I wouldn't like God if, it's good with certain people and it's not good with other people, right? So I think everybody should have the same opportunity. Some people run with it, right? Um, some people, unfortunately, are unable to run with it or they're giving up too soon. And you are still hungry, man. And
Yeah,
you have a long way to go, I think. So I'm happy for you.
thank you. I
All
do feel
right.
very fortunate. I think that's a
Yeah.
a good point though. I think I've despite the challenges that I've had the privilege of being able to pursue my career. And there's been difficulties in that, but at the same time, like I couldn't do a lot of what I do right now if I had to have another full-time job, which so many artists have to do to sustain
Yeah.
themselves. And so there's there's hard work, but also so much luck and so much privilege and so much has to go right in order to get to the place where you can achieve those goals. And it's like if you're lucky enough, you'll find the pinnacle of all of those things and somehow find your way through it. And but yeah, I feel so grateful for the opportunities I've had and the luck and the privileges and also the people who have helped me along the way. Because I don't think I could have done it without all of those things happening all at once.
Right. Anything that you would like to achieve in your life in general, like, well, everybody wanna, make a lot of money and be rich, but
Yeah.
and play with the best. No, but in realistic terms, right? What are your goals for the next, I don't know, 2 years and then 5 and then you have a long way
Yeah.
to go. So what?
I have a lot of practical goals, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the goals that I find myself thinking about a lot and that kind of keep my head spinning at the end of the day are finding true purpose and um, joy and connection. Despite my music and this sort of willingness to be vulnerable in my music, I've always struggled with in my interpersonal life, like true connection. And I think that those are the things that make life worth it at the end of the day, are these personal relationships and finding purpose in your personal life and connections and building and fostering that joy. And I think sometimes in the pursuit of these sort of, I don't know, outside goals, and I dream of winning this award and I dream of getting to this point in my career, I kind of have ignored a lot of those personal goals and the really important things. And so I've been spending a lot of time thinking about that and how do I continue to grow as a person and grow in the relationships that I want to create in my life and find true contentment in this world. I think that's the word. It's contentment. It's not happiness, but contentment, because
Yeah.
happiness is fleeting, it's a moment of joy, but contentment, true contentment, I think is a really beautiful thing, and I hope that I can find that.
Yeah, yeah, you need to work on it. Both are important, right? Personal goal, relationship, right? Falling in love with someone or whatever, open
Yeah.
up to someone, but because you have a difficult bringing, right? You needed to cope with a lot of things, so you close yourself like a shell down,
Yeah.
and now a guy will be attracted to you or a girl, whatever, and then, man, maybe I shouldn't open up to this guy or this or fall in love because you were close, right?
Yeah.
I suppose that eventually the right guy will come along, I suppose, right? And you will have no choice to open up because
Yeah.
if it's going to be that guy, it's going to be another guy down the road and another guy, and you don't wanna look back and say, "Man, I'm 35. I wish I have given
Yeah.
that Johnny or Peter or whatever that opportunity to take me out to dinner or whatever you think,
Whoever he was, yeah.
whatever." All right, but that's a lot of personal stuff. Let's go back to music. All right. So, of course, yourself, Alex, and Andy formed that at the time the band Envy of None didn't exist, right? So there was a 4-track EP, and it sounded good. And feel free to elaborate at the beginning how you end up getting a hold of Alex at the beginning, and so on and so forth, because he's a very
Yeah.
difficult guy to get a hold of with to begin with.
That was all Andy. Once I won that contest and got a hold of Andy, we started
Yeah,
working on some music together, and he brought Alex into the mix, which was an incredible thing. And I had no idea that was going to happen. It was just a very exciting development of the music, and we didn't have plans to create an album at first. We just started working on music, and eventually we just enjoyed it so much that we kept creating more and more songs. And then suddenly we had 12 songs and we wanted to do something with it.
yeah,
And so it was just for a few years, really. It was just this fun thing we were doing. It's just making music together and with no expectations and no boundaries. It could be anything. And that was really a joyful experience. It was really fun and I think was really important to all of us at the time. It was around the time of the pandemic. There was a lot going on in the world. There still is. But I think we kind of all found this really fun, beautiful connection with each other, and we just kept working on this music, and then it turned into a band, and it turned into us wanting to continue to do this together. And so I'm very, very grateful for that, and that all happened really because of that contest and getting in connection with Andy, and then Andy kind of putting the four of us together in these songs. So thank you, Andy.
and then so you guys end up releasing the first album, and then 2022 or so, I think, and then. Of course, Alex we have a lot of weight in the industry, but still there's somebody that, a promoter, producer need to help you to tour a little bit, right? And of Alex, with Rush, and now they are touring, but they went to difficult time and they have done well financially. So they don't have to tour, right? So the guy has a lot of money, right? So they don't have to do. So it's how difficult was to, so once the album was out, right? So what was the best way to promote the album and try to tour a little bit, although he didn't want to tour, but a gig here and there, I think I read. But how difficult it was for you guys to, okay, so we finished this album, what do we do with it, right? So
Yeah, I think a lot of that, it's such a different era of music now. People listen to music mostly digitally and through
yeah,
different streaming services. And so we really relied on our label at that point. We were signed to Kscope, and um, that team of people brought together a publicist and all these different people. So it was a lot of interviews and a lot of um, mostly like written publications and interviews like this, promoting the first record. And of course, everybody was very, very excited to talk to Alex and about this new project that he was doing. It was really exciting news. Um, and Alex was so sweet because he would advocate, he'd be like, "Well, I want Maya with me on this interview, and I want her to be here for this." And he really brought me in on that, and included me in those interviews, when he didn't really have to, because he wanted to share that spotlight. And he's always been so humble about that and trying to, like, he's like, "I don't want this to be Alex Lifeson's new band. I want this to be our band. This is Envy of None. This is all of us." And he's done such an amazing job at kind of redirecting and sharing that spotlight. But of course, everybody wants to know his thoughts and his opinions, and he's so sweet because so many of these interviews, I'll read them or listen to them later, and he's saying really nice things about me and saying really nice things about Andy and Alf, and um, he's just such a supportive, kind person. So it's been really nice to kind of grow together and do these interviews and promote the record, and because I just get to hear him say nice things about me.
yes. And of course, eventually you guys released the second album, right? This year, actually, which I cannot pronounce it. I
Yes,
don't,
we
I
can't
don't know.
either.
Okay, whatever
We
XYZ
yeah,
album, but
we've been calling it Stygian Waves.
yeah, it's very good stuff, and people are very talented. I'm not talented at anything, so I'm glad you guys worked out the first one and the second album. And of course, I imagine that you must be a Rush fan, right, to work with the guy, right? So, and now
Yeah,
I'm going to be touring next year, so I'm looking forward to the gig as well.
yeah, I'm very excited because I haven't had the chance to see Rush. Um, so this will be my first
Yeah,
time seeing them live
yeah,
and getting to see Alex perform live, which is really exciting. And so
yeah,
I'm really grateful that they're going on the road and that I will get
yeah,
the chance to see that. I everything that I've heard, it's been amazing to connect with so many Rush fans. And the
yeah,
thing that I've noticed is that almost every Rush fan that I've talked to has seen them perform live dozens of times. Like it's not just once or twice, it's like
yeah,
minimum 5 times up to like 20 times.
yeah.
Like,
Wow, yeah,
and it's just such a testament to the show that they put on. They rehearse for so long and get the show exactly how they want it, and they put on an
yeah,
amazing show, and then everybody
yeah.
wants to see it 20 times.
Of course, that's agree. I have seen them. I don't know. I've seen so many shows. I don't know, 3 times I think, and of course
Yeah.
they're very, very good. And they're very different. I like have a wide range of stuff I like. And their music I don't like, but there's a lot of it I don't like. So that I do like. So I will when they tour starting in June next year. I will
Yeah.
try to see them like 3 times. I hope they will expand the tour. Right? They
Yeah.
listed like 10, 7, 8 cities, I think. But I know they will do more because the demand is there. But also, they have dates where there are 3 weeks in between. Of course, they're not going to
Mhm.
rehearse 6 months just to be sitting at home, right? So that's a mimic,
Yeah.
right? I know they will do more. So I will see them several times. And you okay, you will. you will go backstage many, many times. Good for you, man.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope I get to
Of
to go
course.
to a few shows, and I'll ask Alex.
Yeah. Man, I would love to interview any of them um, if given the opportunity because I like the music
Yeah.
and but I know they're going to be interviewing hopefully the new drummer, so which is a very nice lady. I have seen interviews and so I'm happy for that. So
Yeah.
the other question you asked me, my only motivation in life, I think it is I want to create like a musical archive for future generations, right? So I have no interest in being famous or making a lot of money. You do because I donate the money and jazz music has given me so much satisfaction that I thought during the pandemic, well, I want to do this, right? So like I told you before, I don't play an instrument. I don't want to read music. I don't want to play instrument. I just listen to it. And music
Right.
is, we live in crazy time with this country against that country and so on. So on. And music is so beautiful, man. Or reading books or whatever. You know, we
It's so important.
yeah,
Listening, that I think it's an underappreciated thing. People who can listen and find value in music and art.
yeah,
I mean, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without people like you. But it also is just such a beautiful thing to be able to listen and appreciate and absorb things in that way. And so thank you.
yeah. And music hopefully will give hope to people. You know, I don't know, maybe we're doomed as human beings and we're killing one another. I hope I'm wrong, but you look at the news every day, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy. I don't have that many questions left, and I noticed something that caught my eye. In your website, you mentioned that you find a lot of meaning in butterfly, and you could
Yeah.
connect. But what do you mean by that? I think I know you mean, but in general terms, what does it mean?
I started when I first started playing in coffee shops, there was
Yeah,
this store in Montana, and there was this giant pair of butterfly wings for sale. And I immediately was like, I'm gonna wear those for my next show. And I
yeah,
started wearing them because when I would stand in the window of this coffee shop with these big butterfly wings on, it would draw more people in and they'd come and listen to me, and I'd
mm,
make more money from tips. I'd get more people listening to me. And so it kind of became this thing that I did. I just always wore these big wings when I would perform. And I lived in a pretty small town, and so I kind of became known for that in this part of Montana. And I started to kind of connect with this persona, this butterfly, this thing, and there's such a beautiful metaphor with butterflies. I think they're seen as these very small, delicate things, but they're actually very resilient. They're one of the only creatures that break down on a cellular level and turn into goo and then reform into something even stronger and more capable. And just the metaphor of that, of really deconstructing yourself so that you can be reborn into something stronger and more capable in this world. And that metamorphosis is so beautiful. But there's butterflies that feed on corpses, and they're seen as this little dainty delicate thing, but they're kind of cool and metal at the same time. And I think similarly people see me and they see something that's sort of weak or soft, or and I have this inner resilience and this inner strength. And so I kind of connect with that with butterflies as well. And then there's like butterfly effect, how like the flap of a wing could make ripples of change in the world. And I think of that and I remind myself that even small things that I do can make a positive difference in the world, even if it feels like it's not doing
yeah.
anything, it does. So,
But I was thinking about a name for a track, Butterflies Within Me. I think I don't
yeah, I love
you can
that.
use it. Write it down, man.
I
And
will.
so, is there any possibility of touring? Or are you planning of what is coming up for you?
Yeah, I hope that I'll get the chance to, just with my solo music, do a tour soon. Um,
Yeah.
I'm working on some plans. Nothing solid yet, but hopefully soon.
Yeah.
And then down the line, I still think someday we'll get to do an Envy of None show. But we'll need to do lots of rehearsing first.
Yeah. With Alex included, of course, or
I hope
or
so, yeah.
yeah. Well, it need to be now because the guy after
I have a
after
technical
January.
tickle in my throat.
Yeah. So
I've had this tickly cough for like a week.
you want to get a glass of
I was
water? I
doing
can
so good.
please you.
No, it's okay.
Sure. Okay.
Ugh. Okay, I'm
Well,
gonna power through.
so what I was saying is, I will be the first one to attend if you guys do any show. I never seen you guys. I mean, I listened to the music, but it'll be great. So
I would
keep
love
me
that.
posted. Okay, keep me posted. You need to put pressure on Alex because starting February, March, he's going to be very busy doing his rush stuff and rehearsing.
Yeah, I will. I look like I'm crying. That's so funny. I'm just
Yes.
sitting here sobbing.
Okay, maybe you're excited about I don't know, playing the
But
NBA
yeah,
one or something.
I'm just so excited about the idea of playing.
Well, let's put pressure on the guy together. Yeah, that
Yeah, I
will.
should
If I
save these
have,
tears for Alex. I gotta get him
that's
to
right.
do
Yeah,
a show.
you need to send this when I uploaded some links, send it to him, and then hopefully he will do it. But and feel free to mention your website where people can buy your music and get a hold of you and that sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's just mayawin.com. And
Yeah,
I've got music out there. I've got all sorts of things. So find me.
I will check it out. Maya, it was very nice talking to you. You're a very nice lady, and you're very strong, man. So you will do all right. And let me know from my end anything I can do to help out promote your music or a coming
Thank you.
tour or a new record or whatever you need. I'm here to help in any way I can.
Thank you so much. You've been amazing.
You too. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.